there's no one else who loves me like you used to. Sometimes we're not ourselves, there's no one I can turn to. And I know all the feelings that we shared are in the past. And I know your relationships are never meant to last. And I'll take some time, but I'll be alright. We're moving on, we're moving on. I know times are tough, but I've had enough. We're moving on, we're moving on, we're moving on. Sometimes there's no one else who loves me like you used to. Sometimes we're not ourselves, there's no one I can turn to. And I'll take some time, but I'll be alright. We're moving on, we're moving on. I know times are tough, but I've had enough. We're moving on, we're moving on, we're moving on.
Hello. You guys caught me in my transition. I see you guys. Good morning. I'm so excited. You guys, I want to say this is episode 10 of Unfiltered. Thank you guys for showing up. Thank you guys for being here. Good morning, Jackie. I see you. Good morning, Marguerite. Good morning, Princess. Happy Wednesday. Good morning, Cynthia. Welcome to the broadcast. You guys like and share. We're in for an exciting and then somewhat intense day with the topic that we're going to cover today. Today we're going to be talking about, hey Stephanie, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the aftermath and what it is that we do next, because we are living in not the United States of America, but a divided state of America. So we're going to talk about that today. But first, make sure you like and share, post it on your page. Let me turn my phone off so you guys aren't hearing all these extra beeps. And make sure your people tune in, because you know what we're going to be doing today? We're not going to do one Be Blessed segment. We're not going to do two Be Blessed segments, but throughout the broadcast, we are going to do 3 Be Blessed segments. And for those of you who are regular subscribers, you already know that Unfiltered is dedicated to giving back cash in this season. And we have been blessed that every single week someone has come forth to give. And this week we had 3 different people just send a Cash App or a Zelle or offer to be the sponsor. So we're going to make that available to 3 guests on today. Welcome, Karen. Welcome to the broadcast. So make sure that you are letting your people know that we are going to do it big today. So we have 3 different opportunities to bless you with cash today. So that being said, I'm going to give you guys time to do that, but make sure, guys, I can't give it to you if you're not on the right platform. Join us on YouTube where you can chat live with us because you're going to have to put your number up. Or, of course, you can also join us on Facebook at the BC Wright. So that being said, guys, let's get into today's segment. The first thing we're going to do is talk about a little bit of history here. So today we are celebrating Florence Nightingale. She was born today. You guys know who she is. She's big in the nursing profession, is the one who founded International Nurses Day. Thank you to all you healthcare workers out there. Also today in 2008, guys, do you guys remember that massive earthquake that happened in China where 90,000 people died? It's so funny. There are earthquakes happening across the world that are pretty big right now, but nobody's talking about it. And of course, we're celebrating the lives of John D. Rockefeller. And of course, you saw Bob Marley during that slideshow. But you know what else we're celebrating today? Guys, we're celebrating something pretty huge, and that is the birth of this young man right here. This is my youngest son, Christian Alexander Wright, and Christian turns 17 today. So there he is, looking dapper with his older brother, Caleb, and my husband, Derek. And he's just such a joy. And this was him. I can't believe this was him probably not even, I think it was 2015, not 6 years ago. That little playful kid is now like 6'2", you know, and the biggest kid in the house. So happy, happy birthday to our wonderful Christian Wright. So we're celebrating that. That to me is the biggest thing that's happening in history right now. So guys, we are actually, I think what I'm going to do is instead of jumping into the segment, before I do that, you guys want to do a Be Blessed first? I think we will do a Be Blessed first. So let's go ahead and get a get a winner for Be Blessed. We're going to jump into that segment first and do our very first giveaway. And then I'm going to get into the conversation. Then we'll have another one. Then I'll do part 2 of the conversation. And then we'll have another one to close us out. So guys, let's go ahead and show you who is going to sponsor this segment. There's 3 of you. So all right, so for this one, I'll just go ahead and do this one. So this particular giveaway is going to be sponsored by the Unfiltered sub show called He Said, She Said, where I come on live with my husband, Derek Wright, which should be happening next week or the week after, depending on his court schedule. So this particular giveaway is going to be sponsored by us. Thank you, Derek, for contributing to that. So there he is right there. So you guys, you know how we do it. We are going to start putting 1 through 100 in the chat. And this time I'm actually going to just start a 60-second timer, 1 through 100. Let's go, family. Okay, guys, I am back. I am back. And there are some pretty smart people in the chat. 2 of you actually guessed today's number, which is, well, for the first one, today's number is 12. Today is May 12th, and it is Christian's birthday on May 12th. So the first number for the giveaway is 12. You guys help keep me accountable here. It looks like, let me see. Well, you know what? Diane Tony is disqualified. Oh, James Tony. All right, James Tony is one of the people who guessed number 12. And then we also have, I believe, our dear friend Stephanie Croft, who also guessed number 12. So number 12 was the actual number for this particular segment. What we're going to do in this instance is we're going to go ahead and have a 30 seconds where each of you need to put a number, and this number is actually going to be 1 through 10. Each of you will have 30 seconds, not even 30 seconds, 10 seconds to put, oh, Stephanie passed. Well, okay, Stephanie passed. So then we are going to be giving that $100 giveaway to Mr. James Tony. So congratulations on your win for today. So guys, with that being said, that is our first giveaway done. Let's go ahead and hop into the Stay Woke segment. So I'm going to just preface this conversation with this because I love that you guys are a part of this conversation. This is our show. We do Unfiltered together. It's really been on my mind about where we are as a country. What's happened this year, the aftermath. How do we get past it? What are we supposed to do next? First, we started off the year with the insurrection. Then we had an inauguration that looked more like, I don't know, going into war. And we'll look at those pictures later. And now there is an assault on voting rights. So I want us to take a look at this video, and I want us to pay attention. I want you to pay attention to some key words and some key conversations that are happening, and then we'll get into today's talk.
They stormed the Capitol.
They were hostile. They were venomous, that their country somehow was being taken away from them.
And plotted to kidnap a governor.
Terror plot to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
And so you think the guys were planning to arrest her?
It was going to be a citizen's arrest.
Correspondent A.C. Thompson investigates the long road to where we are today.
There was a point in my life where, like, if I met you, I would need to know what race you are. You're dark enough, I would need to know.
And how these violent groups have become part of the political landscape.
We've had a pandemic, people who have lost jobs, people who question the legitimacy of elections. This was blood in the water and became a feeding frenzy.
We definitely are the modern militia. We're the ones crazy enough to actually do something.
The Pentagon has ordered a military-wide stand-down to root out extremism within its
President Biden directs law enforcement to study the urgent threat.
Violent extremism is one of the #1 threats to this country.
With the Biden administration promising to crack down on domestic extremism.
I can just tell you that this administration sees this as a top priority. We're going to do everything we can to address it.
How many of you all remember that day? How many of you all remember looking at your television sets and thinking that this was not something you ever thought you would see on American soil? There were some key words throughout that video, and I'm going through the history of where we are for a reason, but there were some key words throughout that video that we should pay attention to, like the fact that they were planning to kidnap the governor of a state and call it a citizen's arrest. As a side note, for you guys who maybe missed it, Governor Kemp just outlawed citizen's arrest in Georgia because the people who killed Ahmaud Arbery are claiming that they were initiating a citizen's arrest. So there we go. That was just signed into law recently, so it's interesting to hear on that videotape that part. A second key part that I noted while listening to that particular clip was the gentleman who said that there was a time in his life where he would need to know what race he was because he's a little on the darker side. He's talking to someone who he needs to know what race you are because you're a little bit on the darker side, which goes back to this idea that maybe a lot of this has to do with racism. Some of it does, but not all of it does. So we're going to talk about that too. And then you hear all of this confusion, and this happened because there is half of the country who feels like they were disenfranchised. There's half of the country who was not happy with the result. There's half of the country who still believes that the election was stolen, and people are tired. Let me hear you guys in the chat so I know you are with me and you are hearing me. People are tired. And so this is how we started the year. And now we're in the aftermath, and we have to ask ourselves, where do we go from here? When it comes to this idea that the election was stolen, one side is saying, oh, there's no proof. Where's the proof? But if you look at it this way, I don't know what happened. But here's what I can tell you. If you've ever been in a relationship and you felt the other person was cheating on you, you may have had a gut feeling and you couldn't put your finger on it, but you may have felt something wasn't right. And when you don't feel like something is right, what do? You act on it. I'm not here to say what did happen or what did not happen. I'm here to point out that the nation is divided and we're in the aftermath of it, and it's starting to ramp up, which is why I went back to that so that you can see the progress to where we are now. Because if we don't come together as a people, that's the problem. So here's the interesting part that people don't take a look at. The people. This is the first time in American history where the people have risen up against the government. And let me tell you something else. If the election was stolen, we didn't do it, the voters didn't do it, you would have to be a super high official to be able to pull something like that off. Any of you guys on here watch Scandal? So if you've watched Scandal before, then you know they stole the election in Scandal. I feel like we've been living this like almost half a year long episode of Scandal because of this. And I cannot say what happened, but here's what I can tell you. I don't have faith in Trump. I definitely don't have faith in Biden. They're men. My faith doesn't belong in men. My faith belongs in God and Jesus Christ first and foremost. It doesn't matter about the man who's sitting in the White House. But second, my faith belongs in the people. And we're in a season where the people have decided to take authority, where the people have decided to take charge. But here's the deal. How are we doing it? Are we doing it by dividing the nation even further because we're unwilling to listen? It's so funny if you guys even think back to how tumultuous this whole election process was. Think about this. People started defriending people on Facebook and getting off of Facebook and going to other platforms and things like that over some people who you elected who don't even know your name. Why aren't we having conversations with one another? And I'm being very candid with you, I don't even have faith in the party system. Do you know why? Because I do not want to be categorized. I have to pay attention to what my values are. I have to pay attention to what that individual's values are and stop voting for a donkey and stop voting for an elephant. Because this is where we are. And because we, the people, have to take power in any given situation. But there's a way that you do it. I don't believe that I believe in protesting. We protest all the time. We protest every time a Black man is shot. We protest over injustice. We protest over things that are not right. I believe in protest. I believe in peaceful demonstration. I do not believe in destruction of property. I do not believe in disrespect. But where are we headed? Let's pay attention to where we're headed. So look at this, guys. I am going to switch over to my Chrome tab because I want to show you something online very quickly. Here we go. So I'm going to switch over to here so that you can just see what I'm looking at. So I'm putting up right here. Do you guys see this? I pulled up an image, and this is the second part of my talk, of the Biden inauguration. Just so you know the history of what's happening in our country and how it's progressing before I get into this next segment. Look at this. What are we looking at? Does this look like an inauguration? Or does this look like a military event? And that's what it was. They had blockades, they had guns, they had everything else. As you guys are looking at this, that's what this ended up looking like. Why? It started looking like that because all of a sudden we're afraid of people on our own soil when we shouldn't be. When we should recognize who we are and recognize the authority we've been given to communicate with one another as opposed to being categorized. So that being said, guys, this was just the preface to what I really want to talk about in the next segment, but we're going to pause for a second for a giveaway. So you guys know how we do it. This time I'm going to turn on some music. We are going to give away a second $100 for this Be Blessed segment right here. So let me switch on over here to Be Blessed. And let's see who this is going to be from. Let me go ahead and do it this way. I do not have a picture of you, and I wish I did, but I do want to say this. One of our winners last week was Stephanie Croft. And Stephanie Croft, out of the blue, sent me a cash app and said, blessed to be a blessing. So thank you, Stephanie, for doing that, because you're going to bless someone else on this show today, which is probably why she passed on winning the first time. So you guys, this one is in honor of Stephanie's willingness to give. I'm about to give away from Unfiltered on behalf of Stephanie another $100 gift. So you guys know how we do it. Put 1 through 100 in the chat, and let's go. All right, guys, I see you. I see you. We got a few more seconds. I see you, Tish. I see you, Joyce. Come on along. I come through. Nanette, Karen, I see you guys. I see you, Gibson. Welcome to the broadcast. I see you, Jade. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, the numbers still coming through. I see you, Tiffany. I see you. I see you guys. Avril, Rutho, James, Diane, Jackie, I see you guys. All right, Charlie coming in with the 21. I see you. I see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, guys. Tiffany said it was stuck on YouTube. She's got her number in, so we're good to go. So here we go again. Hey, 50 Son, I see you. Okay, I didn't know who that was. I think you sent me a message and told me that. Welcome to the broadcast. It's good to see you on here. Okay, so listen, the number is actually 17. Some of y'all are paying attention. But 2 people guessed that it was 17, and that is going to be, I want to say, Jade Redmond. Yes, out of Augusta. Welcome to the broadcast. She guessed number 17. And who else do we have? Cynthia Daniels, who was our winner last week, she also guessed number 17. So, because we have 2 people, again, who guessed the number exactly, what we're going to do is have a, I guess, what do you call it, a tiebreaker. We're going to have a tiebreaker. I see, yes, Gifty, that is your son. I see that. We're going to have a tiebreaker right now, and I need each of you ladies, Jade and Miss Cynthia Daniels, to put in, yes, Tiffany, it's very funny, 17 is how old Christian turned today, to put a number 1 through 10 into the chat. So put number 1 through 10 into the chat. I don't even need to take a break for that. And while you guys are doing that, I want to say thank you guys for showing up for Unfiltered again today. And we're going to be getting into the second half of our conversation on the aftermath and what it is that we need to do. Oh, okay. Well, Cynthia actually said she is giving her winnings away. She said, that's okay, I give up. So thank you, Cynthia. This is, okay, y'all are some amazing people. Stephanie won last week and then won again and gave it away. Cynthia won last week and then won again and gave it away. So Jade, you are now a first-time winner on Unfiltered. So we will be sending you $100 as well as an Unfiltered t-shirt. Make sure that you guys, if you're a winner, send me an email to beblessed@bcwright.com. That applies to both James and Jade. Send me an email there letting me know your mailing address, your t-shirt size, as well as either your Apple Pay or your Cash App, and we will get that to you. And guys, we have one more giveaway to give, but I want to get back into the meat of the segment as we're talking about a divided state of America today and the aftermath and what it is that we need to do about it so that we can pay attention to what's happening, because power truly does reside in the people. Yes, and congratulations. So guys, let's get back over here because I want to talk about part 2. There is a consequence. Whenever anything major happens, whenever there's a major disruption, there is a consequence, right? It doesn't just like go away and then everybody's happy and ha 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 ha. No, there's a consequence. So because half of the country literally believes that the election was stolen, what starts to happen in the area of voting? Laws begin to change, things begin to shift. So I want you guys to pay attention to this chart that I'm about to show you that talks about all of the different states, you guys, that have enacted some type of voting law change based on what happened in the elections. These are all the states, including Georgia, that have moved to restrict the voting rights, to make them tougher, to make it harder for people to vote, to make it more difficult. These are the different states who have done that in lieu of what happened. It's happening in a large part of the country. So the disenfranchisement is real. But here's something I want you guys to listen to and pay attention to. And this is Senator Ted Cruz on the floor yesterday talking about what is happening with the bill called For the People, which affects our voting rights.
I listened to the speeches this morning. I listened to Senator Schumer's speech, where he recounted this country's shameful history of Jim Crow laws. And he's right. Jim Crow laws were bigoted, racist, and disenfranchised millions of people. And it is worth remembering that those Jim Crow laws were drafted by Democrats. They were implemented by Democrats, and they kept Democrats in power. Now, today's talking point, repeated in the media, is that was the Democrats of yesterday, not today. Well, today the Democrats are doing it again. This legislation, to use a phrase that has been popularized on the media recently, is Jim Crow 2.0. I listened to the speeches this morning. I listened to Senator Schumer's speech, where he recounted this country's shameful history of Jim Crow laws. And he's right. Jim Crow laws were bigoted, racist, and disenfranchised millions of people. And it is worth remembering that those Jim Crow laws were drafted by Democrats. They were implemented by Democrats, and they kept Democrats in power. Now, today's talking point, repeated in the media, is that was the Democrats of yesterday, not today. Well, today the Democrats are doing it again. This legislation, to use a phrase.
I'm sure y'all got something to say about that. So, Senator Ted Cruz has decided, as you all heard, that the For the People Act, which was designed to make sure voters are not disenfranchised, which was a way of combating against some of the restrictive voting laws that have been instituted since the beginning of the year, he has compared it to Jim Crow 2.0. I have to tell you, when I first heard him say that, I was offended. And I was offended, but whenever I get offended, I'm learning in this season to stop back and start to look at that from another perspective, because there is a spirit of offense that is just running rampant in the earth. Everyone is offended by everything. So instead of being offended, I stopped for a second and said, well, let me open my ear gates and listen differently. And here's what I heard. I heard that was the Democrats of yesterday. You all remember who enacted the Jim Crow laws to begin with? Do you all remember that on episode 1, I talked about the fact that we should be very, very careful about allowing ourselves to be labeled or categorized as belonging to anything except the body of Christ. That we should be very careful about that, because we don't even know or understand who the parties are anymore, because a flip-flop has happened. A change has taken place, and a lot of people are voting Republican because their parents and their grandparents voted Republican, or because you're of a financial stature, so that's what you believe you're supposed to do. A lot of people are voting Democrat because that is what they believe they're supposed to do, because my mama voted that way, my daddy voted that way. I don't even care what they represent anymore. That is the problem with labels. It allows people to just fall into this little subset without ever having to think for themselves about who this person is, what their qualifications are, what their true agenda is. Who is it that they're really working for? Because most of the time, they're not working for me and you. That's why there's an uprising in this nation where the people are pulling the power back and saying enough is enough. And you're going to start to see more of it. Why? Because the rift is getting wider. It's like, okay, I see what you're saying. I see you, Jackie, and I want to comment on that. That's right. The Federalists, Democrats, and Republicans have implemented Jim Crow law. It's all a power play. You do understand that. And we, the people, have been the pawns for far too long. Everything is a power play. These states are implementing laws to make it harder to vote because they want to secure the election. Some of the things that they're doing, I actually agree with. We should secure the election, but not to the point where we're making it cumbersome on people of color, including Spanish people, to be able to vote. We're making it cumbersome on people who live in rural areas to be able to vote. And that doesn't include just us. This affects white people too. So at the end of the day, what's really happening is that we have to pay attention, because the polar opposite of that is now we're going to do a federal law that says states, you can't do that. We're going to make it super easy to vote. And then they're saying, well, the People Act, or the People Act, it's necessary. Yes, I believe it is necessary to protect the rights of people to vote across the country. But the question becomes, does it go too far? Does it make it so easy that now the other half of the country who's angry about the election is going to think that it's being done to keep a certain subset in power? Enough is enough. We're in the aftermath, and we have to figure out what it is that we are going to do next. We've got to start putting people in office who are actual people, not politicians. Is anyone else on here like literally tired of the politician? They know what to say. They're charismatic. They've got all the experience. They've been there before, but they're so disconnected from the people that they become a problem. Let me tell you this. So let's just say someone comes into a lot of money. That person doesn't begin to act differently just because they came into a lot of money. It just kind of highlighted who they are. And so if they were already a jerk, they're going to be a bigger jerk. If they were already easily influenced, they're going to become more influenced. If they are already power hungry, when you put them in that seat, they're going to become more power hungry. There are seats being vacated across the country. Look it up for yourself. There are seats being vacated, whether it's in city council, whether it's mayors or whatever it is, across the country, because the pandemic and what's happening with race across the country and other things have literally mentally exhausted some folks to the point that they're like, I don't want to be a part of it. I'm not running again. Those seats have been vacated. Even here in Atlanta, Keisha Lance Bottoms, I believe, my personal opinion is, if she ran again, there's no competition. She would win hands down. She believes the same thing. But she sat back and prayed about it and said, I'm not going to do this again. So the question becomes, who are you in Atlanta going to put in next? Who are you in Texas going to put in next? Who are you in Illinois going to put in next? We have to start paying attention. Stop listening to CNN. Stop listening to Fox 5. But if you do listen, take the pieces and go research it for yourself, because everyone has an angle. And we've got to start coming together. Do you remember the episode we did on Unfiltered where we talked about how the Irish came here and how they were hated? And they had these, but then they decided there's power in numbers, power to the people, there's power in numbers. And they started this voting block called the Green Machine. The solution is that we get together and educate ourselves. I see you, Tyson, and put people in seats of power who are in alignment with what it is that we want to see happening in the earth right now. What it is that we need to see for our children and their children's children. What's in alignment? What's in alignment? That's the word. We have to put somebody in who's in alignment. What does alignment look like for you? It doesn't look like that mess we see right now. It doesn't look like hate. It doesn't look like division. It doesn't look like posturing. Like, it doesn't look like any of those things. We need alignment. And that alignment comes when we gather together as a people and pool our resources and pool our power and pool our information and make these candidates stand in front of us and answer the hard questions. I don't care about your debate on the TV. I want to have a real conversation with you. So we have to start engaging in those type of city hall conversations or town hall conversations to make sure we know what is happening and that we are the ones that they're accountable to, not to their comrades in Congress, not to their colleagues in the Senate, but to us, the people who put them in office in the first place. I was thinking, and then we're going to close out and get to the last giveaway because that's how we're going to end it today. I was thinking about the fact that profiling is not just something that happens when, our kids are pulled over. It's not just racial profiling. Profiling happens when we assume who's with us and we assume who's not with us. And for some reason, it was on my mind that it's not about race. It's not about socioeconomic status, because if you think about it, all Black people don't eat chicken and watermelon. I don't even eat chicken. And some white people actually can dance. So let's drop the stereotypes. Let's drop the profiling and start having real conversations with real people, right? To see who it is that we can pull together. We're not pulling together based on our race. We're not pulling together based on our gender. We're not pulling together based on any of that. But in our belief that our country has to get back to the basic foundation and the principles on which it was founded. And that is for the people. This country has gotten way too far away from what it was originally intended for. And so it's time for us to come together. It's time for us to repent. It's time for us to build bridges to one another and take back the power of the people. It's time for our land to be healed. We are in the aftermath. The great divide is here. And only the people, that's me and you, can bring unity back to this country. So that is our call. It's a call for alignment, and it's a call for unity in this aftermath. So you guys, thank you so much for joining us for today's episode, but don't go anywhere because we have one last giveaway. So I see you, Roseanne says, we're a lost nation. It's time to find it. We don't even look like what we're supposed to look like. You are so right about that. And Jackie, yes, dialogue is necessary. And we do, and not only, Cynthia, I see you, we not only have to increase voter registrations, we have to increase voter registration mentally. Like, does it register to you how important it is? Does it register to you the power that we have? Does it register to you who these people are? Registration and education have to be increased, period. So we're going to stop giving power to Trump. We're going to stop giving power to Biden. We're going to stop giving power to the Republicans and the Democrats. They're just men. They're just entities. We were given a brain. We were given discernment. We're given all those things for a reason. We're about to take some action. I feel it. We are about to take some action, and we're about to have an impact, and we're about to be 100% unfiltered in the way that we do it. So, okay, I'm gonna get off my soapbox for a sec. Let me go ahead and show you all who is going to be. So last night, out of nowhere, I get this Zelle, another $100 came in. I get a Zelle. And I said, you just sent me $100 in Zelle. And she said, I know, I'm being obedient. Well, that was none other than, let me go ahead and show you, our friends over at Let's Talk Real Estate with none other than Dr. Katrina Flukas and her husband, Frank Lewis. They are my realtors. They are the people's realtors. We hope they will be your realtors. Guys, please join them. They do every other Tuesday. Get on Facebook and have a live where they talk to you about real estate. In fact, they're listing a property for me coming soon. So they've always done an excellent job. Please continue to support them as they also support the broadcast. That being said, y'all, we are about to get back to it. I'm going to put up the music, and you know how we do. Y'all start putting the numbers up 1 through 100 for the third Be Blessed giveaway on today. All right, here we go, guys. I see you. I see you. I see you, Karen, Demetria, Angela, Tish. Oh my goodness. Just a few more moments, guys. Putting in numbers 1 through 100 for the final Be Blessed giveaway of the day. Oh, here we go, here we go, here we go. I see a few more you getting your numbers in. All right, guys. I think we got everyone's number in. All right, I believe everyone has had time to put their number in. And here we go again. So the number is actually 5. Let me show you the pattern here. So the pattern today was that today is the 12th, and it's my son Christian's birthday, so 12 was the first number. He turned 17. So 17 was the second number. It is May, which is 5 plus 12, actually 17 also. But the number is 5. So the number is 5. And the closest to 5 with Karen Betty's at number 4. And we also have someone else, I believe, put up 4. Friends, who is that? Roseanne also put a number 4. So we have 2 people who put a number 4. The number today was actually, the last number was actually 5. So Karen and Roseanne, I would like each of you to put a number in the chat for 1 through 10. And whoever gets closest to it, and I already know what that number is. Let me write it so I can just pop it up and show it to you guys. All right, 1 through 10. I just need Roseanne and I need Karen. You all guess number 4. Just put numbers 1 through 10 in the chat for me. Okay, well, this is the 3rd time. So Roseanne has decided to relinquish her gift to you, Karen. So Karen, congratulations. You are the winner of $100. So everyone who won today is going to be receiving $100 cash today via either Cash App or Apple Pay or Google Pay, whatever your preferred method is. I won't do Zelle. That's complicated for me for some reason. I will do those 3 methods of payments. In addition to that, send your mailing address and send your t-shirt size, because we're going to send you a Be Blessed t-shirt, as well as your preferred payment method. So congratulations to all of you who won. Thank you so much to our sponsors today, Derek Wright, the Flukas Team Realty, as well as our beautiful friend, Stephanie Croft, who decided to give back as she won last week. So you guys, thank you for joining in. Thank you for just staying woke. Thank you for being a blessing. And until next time, guys, be blessed. And of course, stay woke.